It's time for some collective wisdom, a podcast advancing the cannabis revolution, one conversation at a time. We all benefit from sharing knowledge and experiences. So if you want to learn about the business of cannabis from those in the trenches, you've come to the right place. Here's your host, Lisa Tollner, co-founder of SensiChew.
Welcome. Today we are speaking with Chelsea Hawkesby, Operations and Purchasing Manager of New Generation Dispensary in Santa Ana, California. Chelsea is an industry veteran with 11 years of expertise, and she was instrumental in helping to open the Santa Ana dispensary in 2016. She is continuing to expand and grow her management role and experience and will soon be leading distribution and purchasing for their micro-business licenses across Southern California. And I find what's apropos with the name New Generation is Chelsea represents the new generation of cannabis business owners and operators. So think about it, folks. She's been in the business 11 years. She is 29, which means she started in this industry at 18 years old. So she's learned a lot. She's been through Prop 215. She's been through the compliance rollout in early 2018. So she may be young, but she's amassed a wealth of experience in those 11 years.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah. Chelsea, great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, it's our pleasure. So let's begin with talking about something that's really important to all of us who are fighting tooth and nail to support the legal market. The illegal market is growing by all estimations, and it is creating unbelievable strain for all of us in the legal market that are working so hard to do things right.
Yes,
so tell us how this is affecting you.
So we are on the west side of Santa Ana, which is pretty close to Costa Mesa, Huntington Beach, Fountain Valley. Those cities in Orange County do not allow dispensaries to operate there. So we're mostly competing with the illicit shops that are open in Costa Mesa and in Fountain Valley, Huntington Beach, Newport, the delivery services that are out there. The black market is providing much cheaper pricing than the legal market because of taxes. So a lot of people are going to these places because of the cheaper pricing, and also because some people aren't aware that this is not a licensed shop. They don't even know what to look for. They don't know what differentiates the licensed shops versus the unlicensed shops. They just see it at an appealing price and go there. So I'm really glad to be here today to try to help direct people to the right locations as well and know the difference between the black market and the licensed shops, because it's been a rough 2 years trying to compete with the black market. So, but we've been doing a good job over at New Generation. We make sure we have the highest quality for the lowest cost. We've been very competitive with our pricing in the legal market. We do price match any legal dispensary inside of Orange County. So we make sure that we are still very compassionate and showing these people that you can find cannabis in the legal market for a good rate.
Okay. And what are some of the things that you can tell people to look out for? So are there some telling signs to help a consumer identify illegal versus legal?
Yes, licensing numbers. So you can ask a shop for their BCC license credentials. They should be able to provide it to you or show it to you in their store if it's a walk-in. You can also ask for COAs, test results. COA stands for Certificate of Analysis. Everything that goes through a licensed facility has to be lab tested. So if you're worried about clean medicine, clean cannabis, make sure you go to a licensed store and ask for a Certificate of Analysis or a COA to make sure you're getting clean medicine that has been tested by the state of California. Most licensed and legal dispensaries feel very comfortable walking into also. It's very clean. It feels almost like a normal retail store. Some of the black market shops have no windows, blacked out, kind of an uncomfortable feel to them, kind of hidden, you know what I mean? So you won't really, you can tell a difference when you walk into a licensed shop versus an unlicensed one, I personally feel. But you can also go directly to the BCC website and type in a store's name and see if their license is active as well. So there's multiple avenues to figure out if your shop that you're going to is licensed or not.
And then with relation to product, I was just speaking to someone earlier today, for example, that was saying they had come into contact with an illegal vape pen, illicit knockoff product. Counterfeit versus an authentic. And the counterfeit actually had less medicine and more vitamin E carrier. So although the appearance of the product was, wow, I'm getting a really good deal on this vape cartridge, really, if you added up the milligrams per dollar that it cost you to buy that, plus it wasn't lab tested, plus it had an unsafe carrier agent, a filler, then in the end, actually, you would have had a much safer, more cost-effective product in a legal dispensary, but the consumer didn't know.
Exactly. With counterfeits, there's a lot of in cannabis industry, there's a lot of talk about that. There are some companies that are saying their stuff is counterfeit, but there are some companies that are actually operating not up to moral standards. They are selling to these black market shops, unfortunately. But yes, there are some counterfeits out there as well. There are companies out there that are taking steps against this by adding certain type of like counterfeit stickers, or you can see a tamper seal on it. If it doesn't have a tamper seal, don't buy it. Again, with the certificate of analysis, anytime you go and buy a vape pen at a legal dispensary, they should be able to provide you with a certificate of analysis that shows that it's been tested for any residual solvents, any pesticides, any mold, things like that. So there's ways around being able to tell, but people have gotten pretty good at making counterfeits, and it's just making sure that you go to the right spots, and you will not get one.
And with respect to the black market, the illegal market, what is your estimation in terms of how much that is really hindering your success? Do you have an idea of how much business you lose month over month based on sales that you're not getting?
I want to say that number is fairly high. Probably 50% of the population is still going to black market shops. And I know that some of the people that my friends and family that aren't in the same county as me, they talk about not being able to have access to safe meds, and it's upsetting. The state and these cities do need to work harder on being able to provide more licensing and more spots to be able to open up and provide the people with licensed, safe access spots to go to, or else that number is just going to go higher. The number actually is probably going to increase, unfortunately, come January 1st, 2020, because the state is deciding to raise taxes again. So they're basically rolling out the green carpet for the black market. They're basically saying, go there, so it's tough. But I'm hoping that it doesn't. I'm hoping that the BCC also regulates these black market shops and shuts them down and continues to battle them. So, we can do what we do and provide safe access, good quality meds at a good cost.
Yeah, it's really your only defense right now.
Yes, that is, yeah. And great customer service. You go into some of these black market shops, a kind of term we call it in the industry is a trap shop, and you go in there and music is blaring really loud. There's a lot of younger people working the counter, and you don't get a lot of one-on-one attention, and it's just kind of crowded, and I don't feel like they care. So you get a lot better customer service at a licensed legal dispensary, especially ours. We take pride on that. Again, there's about 20 stores in Santa Ana, so we want to stand out, and we want to make sure people want to come back to our store. So customer service is very important to us as well.
Absolutely. Now, with the taxes, I know this is an area that has everyone very upset. And if you look at some of the original rollout of the Prop 64 regulatory language, they had mentioned that there was a chance they were going to start out at that 15% of a 60% markup. Now they're going to add 3%. So they kind of warned everyone. But what's ironic in all of this is they realize that the legal market is teetering. we're all really working hard and still not there yet. We're vulnerable, and yet they're still going to implement the tax. Are you hearing anything in terms of the folks you're talking to within the industry, within the associations that you belong to, that there is movement happening at the state and governmental level?
From what I've heard, there's no progressive movement. And yes, it did move up from a 15% on a 60% markup to a 15% on an 80% markup. So that's fairly high. I don't hear any talk about them being progressive on trying to change it. All I know is that the BCC does their annual review of the market price and base it off of that. I'm really hoping that they decide to change it and fix it, because it is going to just create more issues. It's going to do kind of almost, it's not like, look at the stocks, like the stock market's going down, people are losing money, businesses are going out of business. It's sad. It really is sad. There's people that have been in the industry for a very long time, and Prop 64 wipes them out. Some really good companies. So I really hope that they do something progressive to change the taxes.
Understood. With New Generation, you've got a number of dispensaries in Santa Ana that you compete with, but it's also cooperation. They're your competitors, but also we're all in this together.
Yes.
Do you find that there is a solid tone within the city of Santa Ana where you've got each other's backs?
For the most part, yeah. There is an association called SACA, which is Santa Ana's collective association, where we do all get together and, kind of talk about what we can do to better the community, what the city can do better, how we can work together to combat the black market. Just like you said, become a team. We are competition, though, yes, but we don't see it like that. We're all in here in this city, in this county, for one common goal. That's just to provide safe access to people for cannabis. So,
tell me a little bit about your vision and how New Generation relates to your community and some of the giving back activities that your company's involved in.
So, New Generation's been open for 3 years, and since we're even building out New Generation, we decided to start giving back right from the get-go. Every summer, we have a clothes drive for the homeless in our city, where we give back shorts, socks, shirts, kind of summer wear, stuff like that, so they're nice and comfortable. And then in the winter, we do the same thing, but for sweaters, sweatpants, and socks. We do that every year. So we've had our 6th annual one this winter that we just did. It was amazing. On top of the clothing drives that we do for the homeless, we just finished our canned food drive, which we give back to the Orange County Rescue Mission. And I believe we donated over 500 pounds of food this year. So
impressive.
That was very humbling, yeah. And then right now we just started our toy drive, which is obviously for the kids. We set up 3 Christmas trees inside of our lobby, and we allow people to donate with us. So if you bring in a toy, we basically allow you to get a promotional item in the store, an exclusive promotional item. And that's going to be going on until about the end of December. And then right before Christmas, we donate all of the toys to, I believe, also the Orange County Rescue Mission or Chalk Children's Hospital. And then the Christmas trees in our store, we actually donate to 3 families that our customers can actually nominate. I'm sorry. Customers can nominate these families to receive these Christmas trees. So, and we actually go to these people's house and drop off these Christmas trees to people who, may not be able to have one or afford one. So it's really nice to be able to give back year after year, multiple times a year. So to anybody listening, you guys are more than welcome to come by, drop off a toy. We'd love to get them stocked up and give these kids the Christmas that they deserve. So,
oh, that all sounds incredible, and your community, I'm sure, is very appreciative of all of the good work that you and your team are doing.
Thank you.
Really admirable. Why don't you provide the address for New Generation?
The address for New Generation is going to be 3700 West Segerstrom Avenue in Santa Ana, California, 92704.
And tell us a little bit, you mentioned the toy drive. So with the toy drive that's going on right now, customers can come in, bring a toy. Do you want it wrapped, unwrapped?
The toy could be unwrapped. Okay. We just ask that it's unused.
Unused, okay.
Yeah.
And then they get to bring that in, and as a special thank you for their generosity, you in turn are providing them with a special item.
Yes, a promotional item, absolutely. It can change from either 1 gram of cannabis to a pre-rolled cannabis joint, an edible, a topical. It rotates through. So, yeah, I mean, come on through and come get hooked up.
Excellent. We've got a few extra minutes, and I'd like to know a little bit more about you, Chelsea. And you've been in the cannabis industry a long time. I mean, you're obviously working hard and getting new generation so that it's rocking and rolling and successful, and no small task there. But what is driving you in the cannabis space? What is sort of your passion, or is maybe something touched you or a member of your family in a special way that really drives you to stay in this industry and be an advocate?
Well, absolutely. I think it came from the patients back in the Prop 215 days when, people would come back and thank me for recommending something, and it happened over and over and over again, and it makes you feel really good. And I decided to really take pride in what I do and make sure I was the most knowledgeable person I could be and provide the best information I could be. And I feel like that really showed to my patients. So that was very, very heartwarming for me, and I feel like that's what kind of kept me going. I was really good at my job. I fell into the position I'm in now because I met my boss, Justin Shively, the CEO of New Generation, and I am where I am today because of him. So he kind of saw potential in me, and I've really grown and molded into a little mini him, if you will. He's very outgoing. He works every day. He's active and at the shop all the time. So I've really kind of picked up on that, and I spend a lot of my time at work. I'm very passionate about what I do. So I am driven not only by my customers and my patients, but my boss as well. I see him, and I aspire to be like him. So
he's been a good role model.
Yes, he has been. He's been in the industry since the 90s, so he's been rocking and rolling in all sorts of things for a long time.
Well, thank you so much, Chelsea, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Folks, if you want to learn more about New Generation, you can check out their website at www.newgenerationoc.com. And Chelsea already gave you the address. You can stop by and visit and drop off a toy. And again, Chelsea, thank you so much for your time. We enjoyed our conversation and sharing your wisdom and experiences with us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see some people there. If you guys come on in and say you are coming in because you heard us from Talk Radio, I'd love to hook you up with a little something extra as well. So,
ooh, well, isn't that a nice offer? Okay, well, I'm sure you'll get some takers on that.
Awesome.
So, folks, we've been speaking with Chelsea Hawkesby, Operations and Purchasing Manager for New Generation Dispensary in Santa Ana. This is Lisa Tollner, your host from Collective Wisdom. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, guys.
That's this week's episode of the Collective Wisdom Podcast. Join us each week for another episode on OC Talk Radio, streaming on Thursdays at 3 p.m., and you can download Collective Wisdom wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to visit cacollectivewisdom.com or email us at collectivewisdompodcast@gmail.com to join the conversation. Thank you for listening.